Now, sir, Lieutenant Colonel, we have two sets of photos there, just for identification purposes of those photos. The photo that is on the left, there is annotated the photo number 19. It's a photo it's an extract from a photo album that was compiled by Warrant Officer Mushlato as she then was. In other words, that photo was taken by her. It is contained, I just can't, in Exhibit B, in Exhibit D of Warrant Officer Mushlato's photo album. I think we are at idem on that with the state. Now, the other photo that's on the right-hand side, it's a photo that is taken out of your photo album that was compiled by yourself, which is contained in Exhibit 1.3, in Exhibit X 13A, and that is photo number 12. Now, that is just a brief identification of those photos. I think you can confirm that the photo that is on the right-hand side, that I say is photo number 12, that was taken from your photo album. You're familiar with that photo, not so?
We are in the system that is so good, photo album.
That's correct, Malo. That's the photo that I took.
Thank you.
Yeah,
now, let's start here. Now, Advocate Warrant Officer Mushlato, as she then was, arrives at the scene in 2014, goes through the scene, and took that photo. And then thereafter, you also arrive, you find them at the scene, you allow them to do whatever that they were busy with at the scene, and after they were done, you went on to investigate the scene, and subsequent to the two, you took your own photos. Is that correct?
That's correct, Malo.
Thank you. Now, Warrant Officer Mushlato told this court that as a member, she was from the Provincial Task Team, and she was in the LCRC division thereof. But in essence, she told the court that when they arrive at the scene, they don't interfere with the scene, they don't change anything at the scene before they can take photos. In other words, that photo, it's a true depiction of what she found at the scene, amongst others.
Warrant Officer Mushlato, Provincial Task Team, ngaphansi kwe-LCRC yakhona uthi uma befika bona beyosebenza akukho lutho abelenzayo bengakazithathi iy'thombe benzela ukuthi kugcinwe indlela isimo sasinga ezithombeni akunjani?
Yes, thank you. Now, you also told the court that upon your arrival at the scene, this is what you did. You found Captain Bentley at the scene with his company. They were busy with the scene, and upon their completion of their business with the scene, you then also got into the scene and you proceeded with your investigations. But particularly what you did at the scene is that you took measurements and also you took measurements of what could have happened at the scene, the points between actually the distance between the points that you were able to identify.
manje uthe umfika-ke nawe kwafika wakala washeko uyaqala ukuthi ubudeke bamabanga khona la ngaphakathi kwisini ayingakanani.
And you then took photos of the scene and then you left. Is that what you did?
Wasithatha-ke nesithombe wase uyahamba ikona lokho.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo unjani?
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now, when Warrant Officer Mushato testified, I attempted to do this very same demonstration. She was very adamant that she can only speak about a photo that she took, but that insofar as the photo that you yourself took, she would not say anything. You'd have to come and if there's something that I wanted to clarify, if there's something that I wanted clarity on, then I'll have to ask you. That opportunity is now today.
Njengoba Warrant Officer Mhlatshwa mangimbuza ngey'thombe lezi wathi yena cha angaphendula kuphela kule ngey'thombe yena azithatha wanqaba ukuphendula ngalezi y'thombe wena owazithatha manje-ke ithuba yilakho namhlanje uthuleni.
Now, and I want us to be very sincere. They say photos don't lie unless they've been manipulated. I've got reason to believe that that's not the case here. These photos have not been manipulated.
You say the last part again?
I'm saying I've got reason to believe that these photos have not been manipulated in any way.
Hayi ngicabanga ukuthi lezi y'thombe lezi akekho owenza owaletha uguquko kuzona.
Thank you. Now let us start. Let us try to identify the differences, because that is going to be the exercise between these two photos.
Manje sizama ukubona ukuthi ukhona yini umehluko phakathi kwalezi y'thombe ey'mbili.
Do you see any difference yourself between these two photos?
Wena ubona yini umehluko phakathi kwalezi y'thombe ey'mbili?
I mean, as an expert.
Ngisho ukuthi njengoba wena ungumchwepheshe.
My lord, the only difference on these two photos is that the splinters in this one, these splinters here, fell down and then they are not there.
Umehluko ukuthi lapha yale kukhona ucezu lwalolukhuni lweplanki olwaluwile kulesi esinye isithombe.
Thank you. Now, we need to be very specific. For purpose of the record now, you're saying the only difference that you're able to identify is that on the photos that were taken by Warrant Officer Mushato, splinters of the wooden door are visible, whilst on the photos that was taken yourself, the splinters that are visible on Warrant Officer Mushato's photo are not visible on yours, not so?
Asizwane ukuthi wena uthi kukhona-ke lezi nqisi zamaplango lezi ezikhona lapha kulesi sithombe sathathwa Warrant Officer Mhlatshwa and lapha kwesakho isithombe azibonakali.
That's correct, my lord.
Thank you, sir.
Yebo unjani?
Thank you. So this is going to be a very short exercise. Now, do you agree that that is the same door?
Uyavuma ukuthi umnyango wodwa lo lapha kulezi ithombe zombili.
That's correct, my lord.
Yebo unjani?
Do you also agree that these photos were taken the same day?
Uyavuma futhi nokuthi lezi ithombe zathathwa ngosuku olulodwa.
My lord, I don't know when was this photo taken, but that photo was taken on the 27th, day after the incident.
Angazi lesi sithombe sathathwa nini kodwa lesi sithombe sathathwa ngomhla 27.
Let me quickly assist you. In Exhibit D, Warrant Officer Mushatlo says on the 27th of October 2014 at 8, she arrived at the scene. At 9:10, she arrived at the scene where the incident took place. That is the scene where you also went to. But in any event, is that not your testimony that you also found her there?
Officer uthi ngomhla 27 wafika endaweni esigameko kodwa manje ke wena uthi uthi wamthola ngizosengathi uthi wamthola khona lapho.
That's correct, man.
Thank you.
Yebo unjani?
That is the day on which these two photos were taken.
Kusho ukuthi ke ilanga lapho ezathathwa ngalo lezi thombe zombili.
Thank you. Now, would you agree with me that the fact that on the photos, or on the photo, which is depicted on the screen, which is a photo that was taken by you, that is on the left-hand side, there are no splinters.
Kumelana nami uthi azikho ngezenkoni zeplangwe.
I mean, on the right-hand side, on the right-hand side.
Singa kwesokudla.
Sorry.
That's correct, man.
Yebo unjani?
And would you agree with me that a probable cause or reason why there could not be splinters on the photos that is depicted on the right-hand side, as there are splinters on the photos on the left-hand side, the probable cause thereof would be that somebody might have removed them?
Njengoba ezingekho-ke engekho lezi zamaplangwe lapha kulesi sithombe sangawesokudla usho ukuthi khona owasusa akunjalo?
My lord, I cannot exclude that possibility, and I also cannot exclude the possibility that when the door closes, because those splinters are very loose hanging there. If you close the door hard, they will fall also.
Angicangela ukuthi uma uvale isicapha ngamandla lezi zamaplangwe zawo.
Thank you. Warrant of, I'm sorry. Lieutenant Colonel, that will be a very strange phenomenon. Look, this incident happened at about between 7:30 and 8 o'clock the previous night. So those printers have been there for the whole night. Warrant Officer Mushatlo comes and work at the scene. And mind you, people have been going in and out. The scene was interfered with. That's not doubt about it. Warrant Officer Mushatlo comes and take a photo the following day. That is almost more than 9 hours, if I'm not mistaken. No, not 9 hours. It's almost more than 12 hours. Comes and take photos. Found those splinters there. You come and take photos. Those splinters have suddenly been removed by the fact that the door is closing and opened.
Limangazayo ukuthi emva kwamahora ayishumi emva kwesigameko kwafika uwarrant officer Mhlatlo wawazi ukuthi methatha isithombe athola ukuthi lama splitters asekhona wona umusufika lapho uthi wavala umnyango ama splitters awasekho.
Is that really possible?
Into engenzeka yini le?
My lord, I don't deny the possibility of a person removing them, and also that cannot be the only possibility. You must also look at the other possibility, as I said, the possibility that when it closes or it bends, those splinters can fall.
Yes.
Angali ukuthi kungaba khona mhlambe ube ngabe asusile lama splinters kodwa ke ngithi ungayivaleli ngaphandle ukuthi ngenzeka ukuthi ke futhi uma ukuthi khona uzoshaya umnyanga ushaye kakhulu lama splinters angawo.
Now, as an expert, ballistic expert, did you really check if those splinters were lying down around the door?
Njengochwepheshe kwe-ballistic wahlola yini phansi ukuthi awile lama splinters awela phansi?
On the crime scene,
We're talking about the crime scene, yes.
did I check them whether they were there?
That's the question.
No, my lord.
As per your suggestion that
No.
they could have fallen to the floor.
No, I didn't.
Thank you.
Zange ngihlole ukuthi lama splinters angabe wele phansi yini.
You know Lieutenant Colonel. He's gone. He's back. Thank you. Lieutenant Colonel, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. The reason why there are no splinters on the photo that you took there, this is basically a confirmation of what this witness that the state is going to call would come and say to this court. And that is what he's going to say. That I was at the scene, that he was at the scene. You also arrived at the scene, did your own investigation. And on that door, you found an exhibit which you did not disclose to this court, to the investigating officer. That can only explain the reason why those things are not there. In other words, you explored that door, which enabled you to find that exhibit.
wathola ukuthi kukhona into obufanele uyivezile ongayivezile la enkantolo mayelana nalezi thombe.
My lord, the bullet that hit the door is the same bullet that went through the deceased body. And when it hit the door, it was not damaged by the door. So there won't be any piece of bullet found on that piece of damage on the door.
Ushuthi le ntambo eyashaya emnyango yadlula kumufi. Okusho ukuthi ayingeke itholakale leyo ntambo lapha kuleyo mnyango.
Now, I like it when you say you work on objective evidence. That is also objective evidence. But let me tell you that the state is going to call that witness and is going to confirm what is depicted on that objective evidence.
Njengoba uthwana usebenzisa ufakazi ungathathi ihlangothi uzofika ufakazi la enkantolo ozofika aphikise lo ufakazi ukukhona.
My lord, if I removed any bullet fragment or any piece of bullet from this damage here, while Lieutenant Colonel Mhlato or Warrant Officer Mhlato was examining that or took the picture of it, why is it not visible there? Because there's no sign of any bullet or any bullet fragment there. And if you look at the shape of that damage there and this shape, it's exactly the same.
Amufuwa lapha umonakalo lapha kulesi sithombe esinalo la kuyafana. Bengeke ngikwazi ukuthi ngithathe ngikhiphe inhlamvu lapha uwarrant officer Mhlato ekho.
That is what that witness is going to come and say. And the state is going to call him. And we are going to show him those photos. He's going to confirm, the difference there is simply because on the other photo that was taken by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, why those printers are not there, is because there was an exploration, there was, I don't know how to put it, but they found something, that is what it's going to say.
I don't know which witness is it that my colleague is referring to, and I don't know why is he saying we're going to call that witness and putting that as a fact to to this witness. If maybe my colleague can let the court in as to who is this witness and why is he saying that the state is going to call him. We've made clear who the remaining witnesses are.
Thank you, Lord.
Normally when you process the crime scene, you don't allow people into the crime scene.
Yes.
I wonder where that witness is coming from, because when you process the crime scene, it was myself, my two colleagues, and Warrant Officer Mhlato, and 2 or 3 of his members only. So if they said I did that during the examination of that, I don't know when and where, and where was that person when we were doing that.
Thank you.
Akuvunyelwe ukuthi kube nabantu abangenayo mawukuthi sihlola indawo yesigameko ngoba kwakuyimina owayelapha no-warrant officer Mhlato naye sizana naye nabe sizana naye angazi ngoba mina ngizange ngenze lutho lapha angazi ukuthi lo umuntu osho wayezobe ewuphi ngaleso sikhathi uma busy mina ngisusa design ngizuse plan.
That's the reason why when I arrived at the scene, they were busy processing the crime scene. I only came and informed them that I'm here. I didn't even go into the crime scene because I know when they're processing, we are not allowed to hit until they said now the scene is clear, we can go in.
Yes.
La ngifika lapha ngafika ngabatshela nje ukuthi ngikhona. Kodwa ngisangena lapha uma bese busy besenza umsebenzi wabo lapha asibathikamisi baze basitshele bona ukuthi hayi sebeqedile sesingakwazi ukungena.
Thank you. That is your answer. May I quickly respond to the concerns that are raised by the state? That witness, the reason why I'm saying the state is going to call that witness is because his name is appearing twice in the list of state witnesses, which emphasizes the fact that they are going to call him. His name does not only appear once, it appears twice.
Yes,
you can go and decipher who that witness is.
Ngiyazi ukuthi uzobizwa lo fakazi le ngikhuluma ngaye ngoba igama lakhe livezile kabili and lokho kuletha isiqiniseko sokuthi uzobizwa ngempela.
Thank you, sir. That is what I wanted to bring to your attention in respect of this exercise. But before I conclude in this one, it will be a sad day that indeed the witness will come and tell this court that a Lieutenant Colonel of the Ballistic Science Laboratory of South Africa found an exhibit, and up until now we don't know what happened to that exhibit.
I'll be happy to see that witness.
Thank you.
Ngizothokoza ukuzobona lo fakazi lona ukuthiwa uzofika azothi uLieutenant wakwa-Ballistic wafika wathola umbukiso lapha awukhipha awususa kodwa wangawuveza enkantolo.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel. Now, I've got instructions here from Mr. Mnube to hand over this document and have a very brief discussion with you on the content of this document. I'm going to request the court orderly. Okay, thank you, sir. It's one for the court. Thank you. I think the state does have this document because these are all the documents that we got from the state. You can just show them what document am I referring them to. Just show the state. Just show the state. Yeah, I'm referring to that document. Thank you. As it pleases the court, my lord, subsequent to this, I'm going to request that this document be admitted in as an exhibit, my lord. I've just lost the count of the number of documentary exhibits that, yeah, okay, sure, yeah. But nonetheless, Lieutenant Colonel, these are my instructions from Mr. Mnube. That number one, no, it's from the States. Objection. Now, this is a document that comes from the South African Police Services. Very briefly, it was a document that was prepared by Major Bayat and Detective Constable Dlamini in 28 February 2015. It's a document that it's a memorandum that they actually directed to the Forensic Science Laboratory, a unit that you're working for, that's the ballistic section. And it's addressed to Captain Makula, which says is a request for IB's comparison. Never mind the spelling mistake. It's a request for IB's comparison. But my instructions from Mr. Mnube are as follows. Is that subsequent to the alleged discovery of the firearm, or let me put it this way, subsequent to the discovery of the firearm allegedly in his possession, then there was a request that was done by Major Bayat and Detective Constable Dlamini that they should go, a request that was directed to the ballistic section of the forensic science laboratory, that they should trace, I'm avoiding to use the word check, but that they should check whether the firearm is in no way linked in the cases that are annotated in this document. I hope you follow.
I follow, my lord.
Thank you.
Mthwake le sisicelo leli phepha leli linesicelo imemorandum yesicelo sasuvela kuMajor Bayat noDlamini esathunyelwa ku-Captain Mkulu wase-Forensic Laboratory becela ukuthi akwenziwe uqhathaniso ngaphansi komshini lo ibhisi. Emva kwaloko-ke kwase isicelo lesasicela ukuthi akuhlole ukuthi kungenzeka yini ukuthi lesi sibhamu lesi siyabandakanyeka yini kula macala.
I won't go through the list of all these cases, but imperatively, Foslorus case 63610 of 2014 is also mentioned among those cases.
Ngeke ngwafunda wonke la macala kodwa-ke icala leli la Foslorus which number is it?
636. Foslorus case 636 of 10 of 2014.
636 ka-10 ka-2014 waseFoslorus naye ufakiwe kuloluhlu lwamacala abhaliwe la.
So in other words, they were already aware of the incident of Foslorus case 636 is the case that we're busy with here. So in other words, the police there at I think that is at Cleveland, they were already aware of this incident. So they also included it for a possible determination on whether the firearm that was allegedly found in possession of Mr. Mnube could have been one of the many ways also involved in the commission of the offense of Foslorus case 63610 of 2014.
Ushuthi ukuthi leli cala ukuze livele lapha kulamacala la abhaliwe lapha usho ukuthi basesebazi ukuthi kukhona leli cala leli okusho ukuthi bagcina belifakile ukuthi kuhlole ukuthi na lo uzohlola lapha kuyabandakanyeka yini kuleli cala leli nalo elifakiwe la.
Thank you. Now what he instructs me is the following. Number one, that the investigating officers of this case, inter alia, that is amongst others, Warrant Officer Masondo, verbatimly informed him that as per the investigation of this case, they told him, that is now Masondo and company, the investigating officers of this case, that the firearm that was found in his possession, allegedly in his possession, was excluded as a firearm that was involved in the commission of this case in Foslorus case 63610 of 2014.
That's a good place, but we object to that question. It's stated as a fact that Masondo and Dlamini told accused number 3 that this firearm was excluded. we submit, my lord, that it is unfair to put this question to the witness without laying any basis, showing any documents, and just putting that general proposition to the witness, my lord.
As it pleases the court, my lord, may I quickly respond? These are instructions. They don't come from me. Do you understand? So I cannot simply decide not to convey the instructions that are from my client to a witness, my lord. Remember, this case is not it's not about me, it's about him. And I find no offense, my lord, in putting this version to this witness, because that is what, if circumstances permit, or if circumstances were to warrant, he will come and tell this court. I'm not so sure whether, my lord, I should continue putting his version to this witness, or should I then discontinue?
You are counsel. You must decide what you want to do.
As it pleases the court, madam, I'm going to decide to proceed to put the version.
And just before you put furthermore, this witness is testified, and it's not our recollection that this version was put
Which
to those
witness are you talking about, Mr. Zoi?
Damini and Masondo.
Yeah, both of them testified.
Yes,
And this assertion was never put to both of them.
that is our recollection.
Because they alleged that with the informer in Cleveland on that street, when they saw this gentleman accompanied by his girlfriend
Yes,
in a car, they followed, and then the gentleman, in this case, got into the house.
yes, indeed.
And then they arrested him, searched him, gave them permission, and found a firearm there.
Yes, there is the extent.
And when they
of what
testified here,
Yes.
they never said anything about what is here today. Fine, it's okay.
Indeed.
Listen,
As it pleases the court, my lord, R versus Hepworth.
no, I said you can proceed.
Thank
I'm
you,
not
my
stopping
lord.
you.
Yes. It really does not mean, my lord, that if this version was never put to those two witnesses, it cannot be put now. If circumstances were to arise, we are going to make an application and request the court to recall them. And if the court were not to be amenable in recalling them in terms of section 186, we are going to call them as our witnesses.
Yeah, you can call that witness.
Got
No
that
problem.
very open door policy.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, my lord.
Okay.
That was just number one. And number two, they also told him that because they also investigated his cell phone, they also found that his cell phone was not near the scene at the time at which it is alleged that this offense was committed.
Waphinde bamtshela nokuthi ke i-cellphone yakhe yayingekho eduze kwendawo yesigameko ngoba bayibheka ne-cellphone yakhe. Umuntu oqala bathi lesi sibhamu lesi esatholakala asithinteki kuleli cala.
I'm requesting an indulgence, Madam, just to remind me one thing. I think there's something that I'm skipping that Mr. Meyiwa told me. May I take instructions?
Yeah. You can take instructions.
Oh, thank you, Madam. Thank you.
I can't stop you.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you for the indulgence, my lord. Further on, Lieutenant Colonel, Mr. Meyiwa is reminding me that you there was a list of cases. I think that is when you were cross-examined by my colleague, Mr. Mngomezulu, on behalf of accused number 1, where you read into record a list of cases that were investigated in relation to the firearm that was allegedly found in his possession. I think though that list was also handed in as an exhibit. I can't just remember that exhibit, but what I can remember is that at the very first bottom, I mean at the very first top of that list, thank you, at a very on page 1, I think that is the affidavit that comprises of 27 pages, that was prepared by Yashni Berlinda Paul. You were requested to read into record the list of those cases that were investigated to find out if possibly the firearm allegedly found in his possession could also not be involved in those list of cases. But what I've noted is that you started by reading that the second case, which is a Sassolberg case, you omitted Foslora's case 636. I'm not so sure whether that was done purposefully or it was a mistake, but nonetheless, my instructions from him are that where are those results of this case, of these cases that you read into record, and whether or not his firearm was also found to have been involved in the list of these cases that you read into record, including that case 63610 of 2014, as per the affidavit of Yashni Belinda Paul.
Lokhu hlulale macala la owafundile ngesikhathi ke ubuzwa umbuzo umeli Mngomezulu ukuthi ke ufuna ukwazi ukuthi ke sasibandakanyeka yini lesi sibhamu kulawo lamacala.
Well, I'll start with the Yashni. There was a list of cases that I have read. I said the bullet in this case, there was a request to compare the bullet in this case, the first Loras case, with those cases starting with the Sassolberg case and the Ivanda and Yashni Paul did the comparison. The copy that we have is the report from Yashni Paul, where she did a comparison. So it was not to be done by myself, it was done by Yashni Paul.
Oh, okay.
Senza lo msebenzi kwakuYashni Paul ngoba kulunyana namacala lawa awasesasol nase-Evanda, so akubona into umsebenzi owenziwa yimina, umuntu owenza lo msebenzi kwakuYashni Paul.
Thank you.
And secondly, on the request, if you look at the request, it's sent to IBIS for comparison.
Yes.
Mungabheka ke nesicelo sithunyelwe ku-IBIS ukuthi kuyoqenza umsebenzi wokuqhathanisa.
Yes.
The cases are mentioned there to be compared to the file.
Macala ke abhaliwe lapha afanele ukuyoqhathaniswa ke kulesi sibhamu lesi.
And first Loras 363 of 10, 2014 is also in the list.
Nje ku-Fosloras 636 of 2014 nalo likhona la.
Thank you, sir.
Malot, I have explained how IBIS work, as I said. With IBIS system, the Integrated Ballistics Identification System, if it's pistols, we acquire only cartridge cases on the system. We don't acquire the bullets. So in this case, first Loras 636 of 10, there are no cartridge cases, it's only a bullet.
Okay.
So when they did a comparison, they compared the firearm with the cases where they were cartridge cases. There was no link between this firearm, and that's how they missed this link, because there was no cartridge case and there was only bullet. And with this firearm, there was no bullet acquired on the system.
Thank you, sir.
Lokho kulapha bese ngichazile ukuthi IBIS isebenza kanjani. Ukuthi ke uma kusetshenzwa ke ngama-pistol ukuthi ibhamu lezi singawahlanzi amagobolondo ezibhamu kusetshenziswa ibullet kuphela, yiyona ke into yenza ukuthi kugcine ke bekwazile ukuthi basigeje bangasiboni lesi sibhamu.
Thank you, sir. Now, Finally, this is what Mr. Mngube will come and tell this court, if needs be. He would say, he was never involved in the commission of this offense.
umzinakathi uzofika athi lana yena akazange nje athinteke kula macala.
My Lord, I have linked the bullet that was recovered at the crime scene with the firearm.
Mina ke ngikwazile ukukhombisa ukuxhumana kwale zinhlamvu ezatholakala endaweni yesigameko nesibhamu.
He will also say, he never was in possession of this firearm on this date.
Uzophinda futhi athi ngalezo nsuku isibhamu lesi kwangesona sakhe.
I cannot comment on that, my Lord.
Ngeke ngikwazi ukuphawula ngalokho.
He will further say that as per the state's allegation, on this day on which this offense was committed, he was never near the scene with Mr. Sibia, Mr. Ntanzi, Mr. Mapisa, Mr. Ntuli as well, at the scene.
Manje uzophika yena ukuthi wayekhona eduze noma kule ndawo lesigameko ngalelo langa kanye noSibiya noNtanzi noMaphisa noNtuli.
No comment, my Lord.
Anginaphawula engakuletha.
Sorry, how do you phrase the assertion, Mr. Mnisi? How did you phrase it?
I'm saying at the scene.
Yeah, you're fine. He will say he was never at the scene with some other people.
Let me repeat it, madam.
Yes, the way you said it. Because you mentioned the names of Tanzi, Mapisa, Sebeya.
Yes, those are accused before court, madam.
Yeah, I just want to clear my mind that you are saying that. You are saying that.
Yes,
He will say.
if needs be.
Yeah, fine. If needs be, he will
Yes,
say.
he will come and say he was never ever at the scene as it is alleged by the state in their indictment with Mr. Sibiya, Mr. Ntanzi, Mr. Mapisa, and Mr. Ntuli.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, madam. You said you don't have a comment.
No comment, my Lord.
Good, yes.
Yebo anginaphawula kulokho.
Finally, he will say that he will stick to his version that is supported in terms of the cell phone investigations that were presented by the state as per the testimony of Mrs. Vitilingam.
Alizoqhubeka ke athi yena ke usekelwa uhlaziyo olwenziwa emafonini olwenziwa Miss Vitilingam ukuthi wayengekho endaweni yesigameko.
No comment.
Angiphawuli lutho.
Thank you, sir. My Lord, may I quickly approach Mr. Ngobe to find out if there's anything that I've left out. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you for the indulgence, my Lord. So thank you very much. I've got no further questions for you. And thank you for the assistance. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, Mr. Lumalo?
Just a second, my Lord. I think there's something that Mr. Gomez would want to bring to my attention. As it please the court, my lord. Maybe just before we wrap, a bit of an extension. Further on, accused number, not accused, Mr. Mnube would further tell this court that on the date of the occasioning of the incident, he never knew accused number 1 and accused number 2. He only started to know them when they were brought to court at, is it Boxbeck at Springs, in Boxbeck, yes.
So lesithathu ayengabazi umsola uqala nowesibili ngaphambilini waqala ukubazi sebeya enkantolo sebehomacala enkantolo yase Boxbeck eSprings.